Hello, everyone, and welcome to Daydreaming in the Garden. My name is Portrait, and if you haven't been here before, let me show you around. This channel is all about raising awareness on trauma and mental health and overall mental wellness. Over the past 2.5 years, I've been through experiences that opened my eyes to the ways mistreatment and trauma impact people, often in ways that are very overlooked because they can look similar to love when you have been through a lot of traumatic situations. I decided that I wanted to be the voice I needed when I was in the middle of my struggles. Typically, I cover various topics in depth, but today I just want to have a personal conversation with you all. It's been a long week for me, and I have been doing a lot of ruminating on a lot of things throughout my life, and I just want to give y'all some grace and not a lot of knowledge and information today. First, let me say this. I'm sorry for what you've been through. It wasn't your fault. You did nothing wrong. You are loved and you are valued. Do not let anyone make you feel otherwise. I also want to thank you for being here because in being here, in doing so, you're choosing to put yourself first. And I'm so proud of you for that. No matter the relationship dynamic, no matter what type of traumatic experience you've been through, you deserve love and the utmost respect. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a long week for me, and I'm sorry that I have not been able to do my due diligence as far as the content goes and consistency, but I had to give myself a little grace because we live in a world that often tells us to keep moving and to be strong and to get over things quickly, but healing doesn't happen on anyone's timeline but our own. And real healing begins when we decide to turn inward and nurture ourselves with the same care we offer to others. Processing trauma and healing, especially after a traumatic relationship, no matter the dynamic, can be one of the hardest paths we ever walk because it isn't just a matter of pushing past our pain or ignoring our struggles. It comes with reprogramming your mind and your body, your spirit and your soul, your beliefs of who you are and what the world is around you. And it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. For those of you who are going through a detachment from a toxic relationship where you are physically, verbally, generally mistreated, let me stop you and tell you that you are brave. It takes so much strength to choose you. And even if you have not made the steps to leave, being here means you chose yourself. And that is the biggest step. You also have to realize that those types of relationships come with so much conditioning and programming and brainwashing. It can be scary when you leave because you are now thinking for yourself again. It's legit the equivalent of being in or escaping a cult. You suffer PRTS, which is post-traumatic relationship trauma syndrome, which is similar to PTSD and something I do plan to cover in my next episode. So please make sure you like and subscribe in order to get all the updates on that. But I wanted to say that because I know that my videos are all inclusive and meant for all trauma victims. But I want to say that in particular, for those of you who are going through or are processing and healing from a mistreatment relationship, you have to give yourself grace and time. You have to give yourself grace and time because you are not used to being in survival mode, and survival mode can be a lot on the body. We are not meant to be in survival mode 24/7. We are not meant to be in fight or flight 365, regardless if you have been in an abusive relationship or just had a traumatic childhood, a traumatic life. You put yourself in fight or flight mode because it is the normal thing to do. That is what we as humans do when we feel as though we are in danger. And with that, you need a lot of rest. You're going to need a lot of rest when you come out of fight or flight mode. You're going to need a lot of grace, and you're going to have to give yourself a lot of forgiveness because it was not your fault, regardless of how you want to look at it. So, true healing requires us to confront what we feel, to look directly at our wounds and to create space for them to breathe. This can be uncomfortable because it requires us to face aspects of our lives we may have judged, pushed aside, ignored, or even blamed for the trauma. But it's only by facing these parts that we begin to understand ourselves more deeply and move forward with clarity. It's not just about getting over what happened. It's about unraveling years of pain, beliefs, and habits that have taken root over the years. And one of the hardest truths to accept is that in many cases, we are directing our anger at the wrong people. When we feel unappreciated or hurt, our instinct is to blame others, to resent those who didn't return our kindness, who left us, or who didn't see our worth. Like, how dare you? But healing requires us to take an honest look within because beyond the urge to blame. So often, those of us who are naturally giving and compassionate are motivated by our own unmet needs, pouring love and care into others in the hopes that they'll eventually return it. But when they don't, we're left feeling empty and hurt. We have to ask ourselves, why are we trying to fix people? Who said it was our job to save people? Who said it was our role to do that? We're not superheroes. We ain't got to be out here healing people. And this ain't a fairy tale. This is real life. So go ahead, let me see that cape. Give it here. Hand it here, because we're tired. Okay, we're tired of playing superhero. It's time to let be vulnerable. It's time to let everything down. Because let me tell you this right now, healing is not and will not happen overnight. If you came to hear me say that, I'm sorry. That's just not the reality. It's an everyday journey with no shortcuts, a small series of steps and conscious decisions of consistent acts of kindness towards yourself. All through this journey, you will find a different life and one of happiness and balance. But to be honest, the foundation of healing is realizing this simple truth. You have to save yourself. No one else can carry that responsibility. Not a partner, not a friend, not even a family member. Society often pushes the narrative that the right person will fix everything, and that if we just find true love, it'll somehow erase all of our pain. If I could just get my mom to understand her mistakes and love me, if I could just get my dad to come back and apologize, if my parents never got divorced, there's lots of ifs, lots of variables, but leaning on this belief often means we're projecting our own unhealed wounds onto other people and inch by inch breaking them down as they struggle to meet needs y'all may never fully understand. I say y'all because when you are attempting to thrive in pain and trauma, you rarely know what you truly want yourself out of anyone. A friend, a family member, or a significant other. Healing really makes you look deep into your own wounds and in the events which made them. You have to truly process and understand why you are upset and what conversations you need to have in order for it to no longer affect you. It's really easy to jump relationship to relationship, friend group to friend group, and even be completely isolated and attempt to avoid being hurt or betrayed. And I genuinely see why people do it. Healing is fucking hard, okay? It's hard. It's very hard. And it really takes a lot of self-awareness and accountability on your own part, even in situations that you played no part in. It's an emotional roller coaster of revelations and acceptance. And in a sense, I blame the media as a whole. That too, I blame the media. Like the whole thing, for real. TVs, cartoons, social media, all of it. It made it so easy to idolize others' healing. I know it can truly be hard to watch people take trips to Bali and Egypt in the name of healing and spiritual journeys. Watching people go all in on spiritual awareness or religion. And I'm not saying those IG models and influence aren't healing. But those images hide a world of complexity that we do not see. The fights, the hard conversation, the work that goes into every relationship, and the hard conversations we have to have with family members as friends in an attempt to heal and gain closure. The long nights we sit up crying because in some circumstances there is no closure. You won't get it. You have to give yourself closure. The media has truly used those trips and IG photos to sell an experience that it distracts everyone from real life, and real life doesn't come with a Disney happily ever after. It can, but we have to work for it. You know, real healing is pretty outside those posts. That's a curated fantasy. And when it comes to love and healing, we have to be grounded in the truth. Real love, just like real healing, requires work, patience, and a commitment to reality. Not to... Y'all seen that, right? That was wild, right? Sorry. Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all. We have it. Tech. Alright. So, okay, serious, y'all. Healing also asks us to dismantle the expectations we built over time about what love should be. Many of us grew up associating love with pain or sacrifice, believing that real relationships mean enduring suffering or fixing someone else. We carry those patterns into adulthood, thinking that by helping, saving, or healing someone else, we finally earn the love we deserve. But true healing is about understanding that love isn't supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to hurt, guys. That one hit for me. It's not supposed to hurt, nor is it a reward we earn by sacrificing ourselves. Real love flows from within, from a place of wholeness that doesn't need to be validated or completed by someone else. So instead of waiting for someone to fill your emptiness, turn inward and ask, what do I need to give myself right now? This isn't just about self-care. It's about deep self-nurturing, learning to provide yourself with love, acceptance, and validation that no one else can. spend time getting to know who you are outside of the roles you play for others. When you start truly investigating yourself, the journey may feel lonely at times. You may be confronted with parts of yourself you've ignored or avoided, but this is where real transformation happens. When you allow yourself to be fully present with who you are, honoring your needs. Yours, honoring your needs and listening to your heart without relying on others to fill the gaps. You truly learn happiness. With time, you'll start to realize you're stronger and more resilient than you ever knew. ever. And I'm claiming that for you. Healing in its truest form is about reclaiming your life, your identity, and your worth, entirely independent of anyone else's approval. You're learning that love doesn't have to be a transaction where you give endlessly, hoping for scraps in return. You're realizing that you're enough just as you are, and that you are worthy of love that lifts you instead of drains you. So for this weekend's homework, yep, I'm going to start giving y'all homework. I want y'all to take this week and do some self-nurturing, y'all. I know we spent so many years giving to others and seeking approval, and self-nurturing feels like a forgotten language or a foreign country, or, something we might question whether we're being selfish by prioritizing ourselves. But nurturing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. Just as we can't pour from an empty cup, we can't expect to live fulfilling lives, authentic lives, if we're constantly neglecting our own well-being. This is what, in my opinion, is the foundation of the healing process. Honor your own needs. Show yourself compassion. Show yourself grace in every sense of the word and in every way. Accept and love yourself truly, flaws and all. This is also what I also want you to come up with one habit or hobby that is relaxing. Nothing draining or complicated, y'all. Don't go out here trying to get to crochet and you don't have the patience to crochet, okay? Nothing draining or complicated, and nothing that involves anyone but you. I know this is hard for a lot of people, especially those with kids, because I have a kid of my own. But even if it's just stand up a teeny bit later in order to take a long hot shower or something, just let's do that. I also need you to go into the mirror every day and say, I deserve healthy love simply because I exist. So that's this week's homework: self-nurturing and self-love management. Let's commit this week to showing up for ourselves in big and small ways. And when you do it, make a habit out of recognizing and praising yourself for it. Just like we did for the people, the ones who didn't deserve it. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes the bare minimum satisfied us because we love them so much. We didn't care that it was the bare minimum. What you think? Like that. Just like that. Exactly like that. Give yourself that grace. Give yourself that love. Give yourself that forgiveness. Deadass. But no, seriously, guys. Honor your own growth in the process. No process is alike, and no one will have the same journey or experience. It is your journey. Remember that healing is not an overnight thing. It is a constant, everyday way of life, and that's how you have to look at it in every aspect. Because if not, you'll always be trying to rush to the destination and not enjoying the walk there. Let's look at the flowers, y'all. Let's pick a couple roses on the way. You know what I'm saying? Let's actually enjoy the journey, because this is a lifestyle at this point. Healing is not something that you wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm done. And I always remember that healing is by any means a life sentence to being single or alone. You can continue your journey and feel a call to connect with others, but at this time, it will be from a place of inner wholeness, and you can recognize and understand the red flags and the signs better. You'll attract people who respect, support, and cherish you, not because you say them or you feel their needs, but because you stand in your own strength and love, and they just love you for you. And that is the most powerful transformation, to know that after everything you've been, you're your own savior. You've taken back your power. The love you sought was within you all along, waiting on you to embrace it. Look at that. Now let's get to it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow my IG and Facebook and my TikTok, where I post a lot more information and content on healing and trauma throughout the week. and mental health as well. Y'all know me. That's all. We're all correlated in one. And I also answer most of my fan mail or suggestions on topics and discussions for my upcoming videos. If you have any upcoming like topics that y'all want me to cover, please make sure y'all can put them in the comments or inbox me. Thank you all for coming, and remember to give yourself grace and compassion. I will end on this quote. Trauma may shape us, but it doesn't have to define us. Healing is the journey of learning to carry our pain with grace, transforming our wounds into wisdom and finding strength where we once felt broken.